Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Boxing 365 for our latest episode, which is going to be the April rewind. Now, for anybody who's been watching closely, we didn't do the rewind for March. Tom was away in Oz, and unfortunately, because of the way that all worked out, by the time we would have been releasing it, would have been a long way past. So we figured we'd miss out on March. But we did go back and check the scores for March, so we'll still be able to fill that in. We just don't have any mentions of our usual scheduling for the monthly rewind. But before we do get into it all, please make sure to like and subscribe if you aren't already. If you are already, thank you very much. Get down in the comments, see what you think about what we say during the video. Follow us over on TikTok, follow us over on Instagram.
Not that you missed anything. You did well.
Not really.
You're getting good at this.
Yeah.
It's about time I think I move on to pastures new.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, probably.
So just for anyone who hasn't watched this kind of video before, the plan is that we're going to go back over the month of April. We're going to talk about our favorite card, favorite fight, favorite fighter, a little bit on any upsets that came about and things like that.
Rumours.
Yeah, and then into the rumors,
Some official news reports.
or less official. So
What's the opposite to official? Unofficial.
unofficial. Yeah.
Fair. I'm going to find out what official, where it came from, like the origins of it.
Okay.
But it's quite interesting. But it's Latin. It's always Latin.
Probably.
So,
Right.
what we're starting with, Danny B.
Danny B.
Yeah. I'm not going to tell people why it's a B.
The card of the month is where we're going to start, and obviously we each going to get our pick. Would you like me to go first?
Yeah, go on then.
I went for Dubois Harper, which I'm embarrassed to admit I actually missed some of the last part of that fight. I'd had the weekend to myself. I'd watched the Brown Ducar card, which again was great. I watched the Chisora Wilder was that weekend. I watched that, and then I watched this one. And I think it was the one that sort of impressed me the most, actually. I felt like I really enjoyed everything that was on there. Irma Garcia absolutely obliterated Emma Dolan, which was a bit of a surprise, I felt. Somebody who was on a pretty good career path. Still is just a
Yeah.
small step back, but
One small step for mankind or something.
yeah, something like that. Chantal Cameron had a good outing as well against Kotiskova. That was again, I felt fairly convincing win for Cameron, but it wasn't easy. It was a good fight, lots of action. The Scotney and Maile Flores fight was again just non-stop. Flores was not going anywhere. And then Dubois Harper again, obviously
The robbery.
Harper got knocked down as well, which was a bit of a added excitement to that fight. So that was good. So yeah, that was my card of the month. Actually, I did go back and I thought there was more going on in April. It wasn't bad for boxing, but I think when you compare it to, I think March was busier.
Yeah.
I think it was the last couple of weeks of April where it got a bit more quiet. But yeah,
I think the problem was with April, is we had quite a lot that was lined up that I think maybe a few bits that didn't live up to expectation. I think people expected the Fury card to set the world alight. It didn't. And Callum Smith was meant to be fighting David
yeah,
Morrell. Obviously, that didn't happen.
yeah.
The Liverpool card ended up becoming it was a decent card, but it ended up
show.
becoming a bit of a quite a weak stack when you looked at the sort of the matchups there. So April didn't deliver necessarily.
And Nikola Yoka fell through as well,
Yeah.
which was going to be a little.
I'd have enjoyed
addition.
that. I was curious to see how that went, to be honest. But for my card of the month, I've gone with a little bit of bias, chosen with my heart, and that is whether it is or isn't at this point. But we had two icons of the heavyweight division over the last 10, 15 years in Deontay Wilder and Derek Chisora. The fight was not a purist dream by any stretch, but it was a spectacle. It was enjoyment. It was enjoyable. It was war. There was the controversy. The ropes were loose. Del Boy ended up on his arse a few times. There was the controversy surrounding Deontay having him hurt and going, "I love you, bro," and it's like, "What you doing?"
Yeah.
Like there was just a few bits there, but then also as well had a really really good little undercard. I thought Vidal really turned up against Masternak. Would have liked to have seen him go through the gears, but against a dangerous opponent, he came out, showed his majority, boxed his head off, and just outclassed him. Denzel Bentley won what should have been the world title. Is that a wasp? That's annoying, isn't it?
It is a wasp. Oh
Yeah.
well.
Oh well.
Show goes on.
Um, Denzel Bentley won what should have been the WBO world title, but the WBO have decided to allow Alec Manali, Janabek.
Getting back.
Yeah, allowed Janabek to keep his world title, even though he's banned. So it's an odd world in it, boxing. But yeah, Denzel Bentley put on a great performance. It was against 1 and 2 in the rankings for the WBO. And Saavedra did himself proud as well, came out really tough guy. And there was a couple of points where I thought might be getting to Denzel here. And yeah, no. And again, there was a hell of a lot else on the undercard, but that top three, entertainment, the nostalgia, the story behind Derek and Deontay, I just think for me was the highlight.
Yeah, yeah, it's fair enough. It was another enjoyable, entertaining card,
Mm,
wasn't it? So,
mm,
100%.
absolutely, 100%.
What about a fight of the month then? Did you manage to?
Yeah, so I'm not going to spoil it for everybody, but I thought your choice was right up there. And to be honest, I think your choice would have been my choice,
Mm,
but I wanted to make my own decision for the people at home to be able to have a few things to talk about. And I'll be honest, it was close for me. Clark Hooney,
okay, yeah,
I think it was brilliant. I think Hooney came out, showed his level, showed his that guy. We said it before, top five heavyweight in the world if he had power.
yeah,
Everyone wrote Clark off, was included,
yeah,
which was a shame because we love Fraze, and came out and in defeat lost the fight by a round,
mm,
which in fairness was good scorecards because I think it was that close, and his stock rose in what was a brilliant heavyweight clash, which will line up phenomenal fights for Justice Hooney, where I'd like to see him in there with, I don't know, there's a few opponents. I called the other day, I said I'd like to see him in there with someone like Bakadir Jalalov,
yeah,
um, and for Fraze, there's big fights out there.
yeah,
So yeah, so for me, really entertaining, back and forth, it ebbed and flowed. It was just a genuinely good fight.
yeah. It was, it was.
What was yours?
I felt like it couldn't really have gone anywhere else for me other than William Crawler, where he fought Glenburn, because I think it was just it was just amazing, really. It had all the makings of like William Crawler's career is over,
Yeah,
and then wow, just out of nowhere, he got dropped. It was three times in the second round, once in the fifth. Actually, at the end of the fight, he didn't even realise he'd been knocked down that many times, which probably says a lot about where he was at on
yeah,
on the night. Um, but he came back and he stopped Glenburn in the seventh round, saved his career. Eddie said that.
yeah, 100%.
Um, a little bit of like disappointment as well from them both because William Crawler was said to each. I could see them talking to each other like it wasn't good enough. It wasn't good enough. It was nowhere near good enough. And the problem is you can't do that forever. Um, didn't even look like it was going to be good enough that night. So yeah, obviously they didn't really get to celebrate that much. Glenburn was really not in a good way, so they had to halt the celebrations a little bit there. But yeah, for me, I thought that's got to be the fight of the month. How can you not? You've saved your career. You've been told that by your big brother. You've been told it by Eddie. You somehow survived,
Oh,
and
rabbit
then
rabbit out of a hat type of job, weren't it?
yeah, and the knockout was just brutal. So yeah, for me, I think that's got to be the fight of the month.
Yeah.
There was others that were good as well, some good knockouts, but as an all-round fight, I felt that was the best, to be honest. So,
Yeah, I think that would nick it. I wanted to give my own sort of spin on it, and I think from a technical point of view, obviously the Clark Hooney fight was a better fight, but in regards to the drama and everything that comes with it, absolutely. I mean, the thing is for me now, I'd like to see William Crawler rematch Glenburn, and a lot of people will say that that's a pointless fight because he stopped him, and yeah, he did, yeah, and he did stop him, and if anyone ever looks back, all they'll see is the knockout win. But I think Glenn deserves a rematch.
mm,
He probably was unfortunate that the ref didn't wave it off in the first round. Second round? First round. Second round. Second round. So for me, I think do the right thing, give him another shot. Crawler obviously needs the practice.
Mm.
And that headline's a small show somewhere. I think it's a cracking little fighter at co-main event somewhere. Gives Glenn another payday, gives Crawler another opportunity to go out there and prove that he went in there with potentially the wrong game.
Yeah,
And yeah, I think great, absolutely phenomenal fight. Really enjoyed it.
it was. It was. Um, our next
So
category
in here.
is fighter of the month, though. As in the fighter we've picked has had the best month for whatever reason.
Mm.
Um, I went for Vidal Riley.
Mm.
I felt like I'd sort of talked myself into Masternak and how he performed previously, and the fact that he's been a champion, the fact that he was the European champion,
Mm-hmm.
and I told myself that was all going to be just a little bit too much for Vidal. Not that it was going to be a total. What the hell's going on? Try to remind yourself what you put.
Mm.
Um, yeah, not that it was going to be a total domination from Masternak, but I just felt like he was gonna be that little bit better and just win the fight, and it wasn't that at all. I think if anything, you'd be kind of um, you'd be kind to give Masternak more than a round, really.
Yeah.
You could argue it was a complete shutout, and yeah, I think he's answered that question. I think potentially, depending what happens with the rest of the division, could be looking at a world title by the end of the year or early next year.
Well, there's talks about him fighting for the vacant IBF strap, isn't there? There's
Yeah,
been talk about that, which the problem is with the cruiserweight. It's that thing of does he deserve a world title shot? Like, has he really beaten the level of opposition? Put him there. But the gap between the European and world because it's a stacked division with so much
mm.
in regards to that depth of quality. Why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
I think he would. I think if they give him an in between fight with somebody
Jack Cassidy.
who's like on that fringe world level, then that would answer that question for me. But I wouldn't blame him for getting him in for a world title. And yeah,
If the door opens, yeah, let's just throw him in.
yeah.
How good do you think he is?
I
Like,
don't know because last time I'd convinced myself he wasn't going to be good enough for Masternak. I thought he was going to be a little bit behind that sort of level, but I was wrong and quite badly wrong. So
do you
yeah,
know though? Like, you look at him from a pressure point of view. Obviously, Masternak's not a pressure fighter, but you look if you put him in there with someone like the winner of Benavidez and Zerdo, is he ready for that? Do you think
I mean, that's much more
it's a huge jump,
clear
isn't it?
to me in terms of how I'd pictured his
Yeah,
ability before the Masternak fight.
yeah.
Um, I didn't think he was going to be quite good enough for Masternak. So for me now to just change my tune and say that he'd be good enough to beat Zerdo or
You'd be a
Benavidez,
hypocritical bastard.
yeah,
Fair
and I'd
enough.
be lying to myself just based on the last result. I don't think he would be either of those. I think he could be other cruiserweights in that top 5, top 10 of the cruiserweight division.
Would he beat a CBS? I think I'll be honest. I think from CBS's point of view, someone like Vidal would be all wrong for him.
Yeah, I was gonna say when CBS or Zerdo didn't really get away with being sort of bully and I could sort of see that Vidal's pretty like a good boxer himself, would see that he's yeah,
Footwork could come out
yeah,
the way.
he'd
He
sort
at his own range.
yeah, wouldn't really get called too much. So yeah, I don't know if that'd be a good fight for CBS, but if you had to make a pick, I would pick CBS to win
Yeah, I would.
because I think he's got the experience of fighting at the highest level. So
I'd like to see next for Vidal, Brandon Glanton.
it's not a bad shout.
Be a good measure.
Mm.
Lost in a competitive fight to CBS. CBS won convincingly, but was competitive. Um, Obviously got beat up for 12 rounds against Jai Opataya, but I just think he's at that sort of in between level, and there's not many of them, but I think he's in at that in between level.
Yeah,
Anyway, It's my turn, innit?
Yeah.
I went for a Spaniard,
Mm.
and I went for Mr. Cristobal Llorente. I think we wrote him off in the Collins first fight. Thought Collins, as a counter-puncher, the pressure that comes with Llorente, I thought he'd have enough to work him out. He'd catch him coming in. He didn't. We looked at it, watched it back. We talked about it again, and we went, there's a route to victory here. Collins, clever fighter. I think he'll have a plan B. Seemed to lack it in that first fight.
Mm.
And look, I think it's one styles where I think 9, 10 fights, it's close. I don't think any of them ever going to dominate the other because of the way the two fight. But I used to Collins come in and prove class from a boxing standpoint, and Lorenzo on the performance of life, absolutely brilliant. Started a bit slow. Collins looked like he was finding a bit of a rhythm, and just relentlessly just broke him down, chipped away, and just built himself up a lead to the point that in the end it was close enough,
Mm.
but he won it convincingly. And I think if it wasn't in Scotland, people would have probably looked at it even wider than it maybe have was. Llorente deserves it, and it looks like now he's going to get the shot against Bruce Carrington for the
Yeah.
WBC title. Yeah, I think it was the arrival of someone who is he going to go and dominate world scene? No, because he's that sort of style. But he's that sort of style that no matter who you put him in there with, it's going to be close.
Yeah.
You're going
And
to look at that scorecard and go,
he's probably going to drag a close decision out of most fights, isn't he?
"What's his third?" The Collins draw was the third draw of his career, second back to back.
Yeah.
Like you look through even through his wins and stuff, and there's quite a lot of that, like majority decision, split decision. And I just think he's one of them fighters that even against a Bruce Carrington, you think to yourself, Bruce Carrington's gonna have the quality, surely.
Mm.
I don't know. I don't know. He's tough. He's good, and I'm absolutely over the moon for him. And I'm super excited to see just how far he can go. Love an underdog story, don't we?
Yeah. Yeah.
Whether
Yeah.
he's one of our own or not, we absolutely love an underdog. And if he was to go out and achieve that world title glory, I'd be buzzing for him.
Yeah. It would be.
Absolutely buzzing
It would be a good
because
story.
he seems like a nice man.
Yeah. I suppose so. Yeah.
So for me, Cristobal Llorente, congratulations. I'm not sending you a trophy because I'm not paying international shipping fees.
Yep. We haven't got that kind of cash. Not
Yeah.
yet. The last one is upset of the month. So, would you like to go first this time?
I'm going to be honest. Yes, I will. But I'm not going to talk about the opponent that lost. I'm going to talk about the winner.
All
We
right.
talk about the winner a lot.
All
Mr. Grant. Mr. Grant Dennis.
right. Okay.
That's 2 wins on the bounce. Going in against an 8-0 opponent. Everyone expected. Typical Grant. Coming in, collect a payday, put a difficult show on, Just do what journeymen are meant to do. Beat him on points over 6 rounds.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's it.
Grant Dennis caused the upset of the month.
It was a fight that you were upset about.
I don't want to talk about it. That's why I put it in there. Look. For me, the upset of the month was Nico Levers getting stopped in his corner due to a broken orbital socket. He lost all sight in one of his eyes. He's had to have surgery. Nico will be back. He was winning that fight. He was working at an incredibly quick pace. And Arbuckle was very, very fortunate to have him retire in the corner because of an eye injury. On the paper, Arbuckle is the British champion. On paper, he stopped Nico. But everybody knows you were getting beat up, pal. All right, you were getting beat up bad. You were getting
No.
Dylan Arbuckle, you little shit house. All right, we're coming back for it. All right, me personally, I'm gonna get involved. I'm gonna get Nico that rematch, and I'm gonna be there with the spit bucket in the corner. I'm gonna get me practicing this weekend. I volunteered to be a coach for a fighter
Nice.
because that's what I do.
Right. Now that you're done with your little rant, I'll say my upset of the month was Irma Garcia stopping Emma Dolan. I did mention it. It's part of the card of the month. it was a difficult one, really, because we said during our discussion about that card that Garcia's a world champion. Garcia's been there a long time. She's in her 40s,
43.
43, I think. And it's like, well,
She could be your
surely
mum.
the young buck, Emma Dolan's going to come in and do it, but just clearly not. And obviously got absolutely blown away by Emma Garcia. And yeah, I mean, she did it on a big stage, on a massive event for women's boxing. She did it on MVP show, and possible, that could change her life. Really,
Yeah, 100% would
that's
have,
going
yeah.
to pay dividends to her now. She's going to be on more shows. They're going to want her back. You don't do that to an up and coming British prospect without getting some more opportunities
No.
further down the line. She's going to see more payday. She's probably going to see in the next couple of fights more money than she's seen in most of her career, which I just think is brilliant, and I'm
Yeah.
happy for her. And I think that was my upset of the month. She could have been my fighter of the month, to be honest with you. I was up umming and ahhing, but I thought it suits the upset better.
Fighter of the month's always tough, innit? Because you always have that sort of argument with yourself of, do we give it to a prospect who puts in his first real dominant performance? Because, for example, a fighter I was really impressed with, fought Guerrera, was, or Guerrera Jr., sorry, was Nishant Dev.
Mm,
First time where I've watched him and I've gone, that's why. That's why we talk about him. That's why he's got the following he's got. And it's hard because you look at these prospects and they're fighting guys who are there to survive because if they don't get knocked out, they can fight again next week.
yeah,
And when you've got a fighter who's a prospect who comes from that amateur pedigree, stopping opponents is tough because they don't want to get stopped. First time an opponent's come in there with looking to fight, and he stopped him. And he stopped him viciously. A great, great shot that caught his opponent coming in, shown his pedigree. And I think, you can look at them sort of fighters and think, well, they can deserve fight of the month because it's that turning point as a young fighter. So some great fights. April was good overall. Excited for May, which
yeah.
starts tonight. Are we releasing this tonight?
I don't know, maybe.
Maybe. Well, if you're watching, there's a fight on. It's a comedian from Nigeria and he's fighting a
That's not
rapper.
interesting. That.
There is a good undercard though, British Talent. I did a post on it earlier. Go check it out. Make sure to like and share.
Right, folks. Now for the shameful part of this episode, which is looking at our scores against the AI, or Tom's scores against the AI.
Doesn't say up there, Tom, does it?
No, it doesn't.
You need to take a bit more ownership, son.
So, as I said, we didn't get to do the March rewind, unfortunately, but I did go back and look at the scores. So, let me just look at this one more time. Struggling to do maths.
Do you want me to have a look?
No.
Oh, okay. I'll get my
Right.
calculator out, Daniel.
So, the new score for Boxing 365, following previous score of 63, we scored across the 2 months 33 correct answers. So now,
99.
no, 96.
Oh yeah.
96 is the score for Boxing
I know what you're
365.
thinking. Good in it.
Previously, AI were on 66. They, however, have scored 34 points, which means they are on a nice, even
10.
100. God, my writing's awful.
Did think that.
So, this is where we're at.
Basically, guys, if you want to listen to people talk about fights, break them down, predict them, we're not the show.
No,
Just basically go on ChatGPT, send it box rec, and it'll tell you the winners, and you may as well not listen to us,
as
idiots.
soon as somebody opens a AI-run YouTube channel, feel free to unsubscribe. No, don't do that. Definitely don't do that. Just to break that down, though, in March, both us, Tom, and the AI got 21 points. And in April, we got 12, and the AI got 13.
Look, guys, can't win them all, can you?
Clearly not.
My view is though, once again, I go for the upset. I look at it from a more it's easy to pick favourites like these gimps. You know what I mean?
Mm,
I'm out there. I'm the people's champion. I'm like Dave Allen of podcasts. I mean, Dave Allen has a podcast, so I can't be Dave Allen. Who's another? No,
No, you know one. That's what you are.
nobody. I'm a loser. I'm a
Right,
shithouse loser like Dylan Arbuckle.
we are going to just quickly blast through some of what's gone on then. So obviously we had Derek Chisora's retirement, followed by Derek Chisora's supposed return.
Yep.
Anthony Joshua is going to be coming back. He's going to fight in June. He's fighting Prenga, is it?
Christian Prenga.
Christian
Yep.
Prenga. And the expectation that Fury AJ is signed and that fight will happen at the end of the year,
October is what Frank Warren has said.
October. So big news really for British boxing, world boxing, heavyweight boxing. Very exciting. Obviously, we had Conor Benn, who fought Regis Prograis, went exactly as we said. Prograis, not really a lot there.
Conor Benn, not world class.
Not world class. Obviously, Prograis was saying he wasn't injured, saying he was fine, saying he was there to fight. As soon as the fight was over, listen, I was injured, I wanted to pull out, blah, blah, blah. I didn't like that because I was like,
Either pull out or don't.
yeah, just
Like, yeah.
you one or the other.
Do you know what I mean?
Um,
My dad should have pulled out.
yes, exactly. You should be on the curtains. Caroline Dubois went and did what I thought she was going to do. That was one of the points that we should have had, but Tom's a shit bastard. Lauren Price had a good win. And yeah, we've had a lot of that's gone on in the month and a lot of success. Obviously, we've had a Coley drug cheating, claiming it's to do with the bicep
Yeah. All
injury,
right.
and
It's not. It wasn't his
yeah,
fault.
well, and a couple of rumours that have come out. So we've got an expectation. Lauren Price is looking like might be fighting Clarissa Shields. Derek Chisora supposedly wants the Wilder rematch. Usyk and Benavidez has floated around, but I'm not really sure because you do hear a lot about. Obviously, people can't keep Usyk out their mouth because why wouldn't you?
Nice looking guy.
Uh, and potential that the winner of Hrgovic Dave Allen, which is one of the cards we're going to be talking about over the weekend, will be getting the winner of Wardley Dubois, which would be massive for either of those fighters.
Well, Dave.
Well, either of them.
Well, big for Dave when he wins.
Yeah.
Also, for anyone that's wondering, when we said earlier about how hot it is in here, do you know that wasp that was buzzing around?
It's just caught fire.
It died.
Yeah.
The heat has killed a
Honestly,
wasp.
I get that. But that is the end of the April Rewind, the end of the episode. Please do make sure to like and subscribe if you aren't already. As I said at the start, if you are, thank you very much. Keep watching, share with your friends. We're trying to grow faster and faster. And we're hoping to change a few things up maybe. So keep your eyes peeled for that. And we'll see you on the next episode.
I'm going to go get some fresh air.
Me too.